Hi guys, so week 3 of online learning. Hopefully there won't be a week 4. We'll have to wait and see what comes out this week. But anyway, not to worry, we're continuing on. We're going to finish off the first bit of this arithmetic, and we're going to move on to the second part. So we're going to get the full lot of arithmetic done and dusted. Hopefully by the end of this week, if not early next week, and then we'll move on again. So we're going to keep motoring through and tapping away and getting the questions done. So one way or another, we're staying on track to where we need to be. Okay, so we go back to the OneNote. I asked you to do after the live lesson on Friday. I asked you to work away on these questions here. So 21.3, 5 and 7, and then up to 21.4. Okay, a couple of questions there as well. So that's what I asked you to do. So we'll have a quick look at those first. So back up to 21.3, which is here. Okay, so if we have a look at the first question there, I'll just do these out really quickly. The following payment on her phone, Francis, €65 a month, unlimited calls within Ireland, and 300 free text messages. So unlimited calls and a couple of text messages, which is normal when if you go into Air or Virgin, one of these, that's the kind of thing, the deals they give you, isn't it? If she wants to make a call outside, she's charged 45 cents a minute. So last month she made an overseas call lasting 20 minutes. She did not exceed her quota for text messages. How much did our overseas call cost? Okay, so well, it was 20 minutes by 45 cents, so 0.45 of a euro, multiply, which works out at 9 quid, so €9 for that call. For part B, how much was her bill before VAT was added? Okay, well, it was €65 plus the €9, which would have been €74. So €9 for A and 74 for B. And then if they're saying that, okay, we're going to charge you VAT at 21%, so you get your 74 multiplied by 1.21, so 100% plus 21%, so 121%, or 1.21, and that works at €89.54. Okay, so you get the 1.21 is because I'm multiplying with 121%. 100% would have been the 65, but this is 121%, because we're adding on 21% VAT. Okay, and then question 7 says, Aaron and Robbie are thinking of changing their networks. Each researches the network. Robbie says network A will cost the least, and Aaron says network B. So we have a look at this table. If both make call for 120 minutes and send 150 text messages, which is the better network to choose? Okay, well, if we go then to network A, that's going to be 20, and so 20 start off with, and 50 by 0.1 plus 20 by 0.15. So a bit of BEMDAS here. I'll throw straight into the calculator. We work that out. That will give us €28, like that. Okay. For B, you have 15 start off with. Okay, so €15 plus 65 by 0.12 and 20 by 25 cent, which is 25 cent by 0.25 into a calculator, and that gives you 27.80. So you're just working out separately how much is each one going to cost. How much is each one going to cost? Okay, so I've just done the 3 calculations there for you. Okay, right. So we go on and have a look at the second exercise. I gave you a couple of questions there as well. Okay, so question 2 in the second exercise was Find the selling price of each of the following. So, so basically what you're doing for all these is you're multiplying by 100 plus whatever the percentage profit is here. So for example, if I do the first one out for you there, it's going to be 50 multiplied by 1.05 or 105%. If I do the second one here, it's going to be 120 by 1.06. If I do the third one, it's going to be 240 multiplied by 1.125. So it's 100% plus the VAT. So this here, these are 100% of what they cost, and these are an additional percentage over there. Okay, the answers I've put them, haven't I put them over at this side here? So I've put them, I've put all the answers out here for the right, and the same for the last exercise as well. Question 4 is pretty much the same job. So question 4, a product costs 13,250. What is the percentage profit if a company sells the product for 15,900? So you're going to take one away from the other. You're going to take 15,900 minus 13,250, which gives you 2,650. And you take your 2,650 and put it over the cost price, which is 13,250. And because we're looking for a percentage, multiply by 100 over 1, which gives us 20%. Okay. Question 7 is pretty much the same deal. If anyone can't do it, you can give me a shout, but the answer that the solution is done out on the right hand side, so there's no separate explanation, it's the same thing. We'll move on then and have a look. I did question 8 out for you on Friday. We're going to have a look at question 10. Pretty much the same job, it's just that it's a long question with a lot of numbers and a lot of parts, so we'll just fly through it nice and quick. So for the invoice below, calculate the total ex VAT. So what's the total going to be ex VAT? Well, there's 40 euros and 30 euro, which is going to give us 70 euros. Okay, so our total ex VAT is going to be 70 euros. The amount of VAT due. Okay, well, let's have a look. Is there any parts to this? No. The amount of VAT due. Oh, there we go. I was looking because no VAT numbers. There's no VAT due. So the answer to that is nothing. We owe no VAT. So the total due, well, if the total ex VAT is 70 and there's no VAT, well then the total is just going to be 70, VAT free. Part D is asks us the discount received if paid within 1 month. So in the question, if paid within 1 month. Within 1 month. Oh, here we go. I didn't see it there. 6%. 6%. So we get our total. We're going to have, so for part D, we're going to have 70 multiplied by, well, 6% into a calculator if you want, or you can put it as a decimal, 0.06. So you can put it straight as 6% or 0.06, and that gives us 4.2, which would be €4.20. The price to be paid after discount, well, you had your 70 euros, you take away your discount of €4.20, which gives you 65.80 €. Okay, and the last one then, Kira and Barbara are shopping at Mahon Point. Kira sees a sign in the shop window, which always attracts attention. 20% off. Kira bought a cardigan for €12. So 12 euros is going to be 80%. So we're saying, well, that's going to be, because that's what's left if you take 20% off. So we can say 12 euros is 80%. So the best way to find out then is to find 1%. So we find out 1% is going to be 12 divided by 80. And we work that out. And that works out as 0.15. Okay, and multiply that by 100. So multiplied by 100 is going to be, so 0.15 multiplied by 100 is going to be put that in as 1%, is going to be 15 euros. Same for part B. So same for part B. If they're saying that this is going to be 80%, find 1%. So first thing is going to be find 1% and then find 100%. So exactly the same method as up here. Okay, and that was the homework that I wanted you to do, and I saw some of you had uploaded that to the OneNote, even though you didn't have to finish it. Most of you did. I think about 19 of you actually finished it and uploaded it, which is great. And it's the kind of initiative I like to see. But if you didn't, you didn't. As I said, I didn't want homework. I didn't want to have to finish that on Friday, so I'm happy if you got even some of it up there, which is great. Okay, right, one more thing. Like I said, we're motoring through this. We haven't got an awful lot left to do, so but we will keep going. This is ratios, right? So same thing, still arithmetic, but just and you would have done ratios as part of decimals and percentages in first year. So it's just adding in it kind of making it practical questions on ratios. So these two lads find an old money box. They share out the money in the ratio of their ages. So Jack is 8 and Danny's 10 and Danny gets 60 euros. So you have these two fellas and Danny gets 60 euro, which is 10 parts, and Jack gets 8 shares. So you're wondering how much is 8 shares basically. So if we say that, well, if 10 parts is worth 60 euros, because that's he's 10 years old, well, what's one part going to be equal to? So find out one part, you just divide 60 divided by 10. One part is going to be equal to 6. So you think, well, if 10 parts, if one part is worth 6, and Jack is going to get 8 parts, basically all you're doing there is multiplying 6 by 8, which is equal to 48. They go into a bit more of a description here. So so there's two ways of doing it. One, you can just do it like this, 6 by 8 to find out what the 8 parts are. Or you can go along and you can say, right, well, 8 parts and 10 parts is 18 parts in total. We found out over here that one part is 6. So if you multiply your 6 by 18, the whole amount in total is going to be equal to 108. So if you say, well, we've already given away 60 euros to Danny, you're going to have 108 minus, so 108 minus 60, which is going to be equal to 48 as well. There's a couple of ways of working at the same thing. Once you know one part, once you know how much one part is, you can find out how many any parts are. Okay, this definition here, just for the notes, proportionality. Two quantities are in direct proportion. If when the numbers are involved or changed, the ratio stays the same. So if we have a ratio, if we say that Ben gets 1 part and Robert gets 10 parts. Well, I could say, well, what numbers would that work for? Well, it could be that Ben gets 10 euros and Robert gets 100 euros. Well, yep, that'd be fine. That ratio is so this ratio here would work for definitely for these numbers here. If I was to say that Ben gets 5 euros and Robert gets 50 euros, would a 1:10 ratio still work? It would, wouldn't it? Absolutely. If we had 1,000 euros and 10,000 euros, that ratio would still work. That's what I mean by proportionality. So if these are in these two are in direct proportion, these two are in direct proportion, these two are in direct proportion, and they all work for that ratio. Okay, so if we have this, Ali's pocket money is in direct proportion to the number of hours of chores done. So if Ali gets 12 euro for every 2 hours, so 12 euros for every 2 hours, straight away you're telling me, oh, that's 6 euro for every hour. But if she helps out for 3 hours, how much money will she get? Well, obviously 6 by 3, straight down to the answer, is going to be equal to 18. How many hours would she have to help out to get 36 euros? Well, even looking at the question, you know, 12 by 12, 12 plus 12 plus 12, or 12 threes is going to be equal to is going to be equal to 36. So she's going to have to do 3 times that amount. 3 times 2, which is going to be equal to 6 hours. And you can read the whole solution if you want, but you're just looking at proportion. It goes up and up and up, but it's still in the same ratio. Okay. Value for money then. So if we have, you walk into a shop, and electricity companies try and bamboozle you with this all the time. They might say, I'll give you 5% off your gas and 6% off your electricity, or do you want 5.5% off your gas and electricity when they're all different rates? So this is kind of, if you walk into a shop and you say, right, there's a kilo of Fuseley pasta coming in at $3.19, or 750 grams of pasta shells for $1.69. So you're going to have to look at a few things there. This is 750 grams. This is 1,000 grams. So I'm getting more over here. But the money here is less. So I'm getting more pasta for more money, or I can have less pasta for less money. The question is, which is the better value? And you always, for all of these, you always have to bring it back to one part, or 1%, or €1 to find out how much it is, which is the better value. So if we look at the first one, so if we take this one here down here, so we're looking at the best way to do it is just bring it. If we have 1,000 grams, we bring both of them to 100 grams. Well, 100 grams of Fuseley, you're going to divide your number by 10, because this is 1,000 grams. So 1,000 grams costs $3.19. So 100 grams, you're going to divide it by 10. So 100 grams is going to be 32 cents. Divide that in. Let's bring this one here to 100 grams as well then. So 750 grams is 169. So it's very difficult to bring that. You could divide it by 7.5 to bring it down, but go the long way around. Divide it by 750. Divide your 169 by 750 to find out what 1 gram is, and then multiply it by 100 to find out what 100 grams is, which works out as 0.225. So now we have a nice little comparison. This side is 0.225 per 100 grams, and this is 0.32. So this is basically 32 cents, and this is 22.5 cents. So per 100 grams, this bag of this is better value. So this one here is going to be better value. It is cheaper per 100 grams. They might ask you an additional question, by how much? So you're going to take this number and take minuses away from it to find out the difference. By how much better value? Okay, onwards then to the second part. So 21.5. So these are questions here all based on ratios. So the first one here is just dividing a length in the ratio of 1:2:3. So what you're going to do, you're going to add up these 1 plus 2 plus 3. You're going to divide it into 90, and then you're going to multiply your answer by 1, get an answer, by 2, get an answer, and by 3, get an answer. So you're going to work out. So if I question 3 is for homework. If I see number 2, so I have 156, and my ratios are 8 and 5. So I'm going to add those two up, which is going to give me 13. So I have 13 parts to give out. I'm going to go 156 divided by 13, and that is going to give me my answer, which is 1 share or 1 part. And then I'm going to multiply my answer by, what numbers was it again? 8. And multiply my answer by 5 to give me my new answers. Okay, so that's finding out how to do ratios. Question 6 is all about pizzas. So 2 of them are divided in a ratio of 3:2. How many slices and how many slices does the other person get? And so on and so forth. So nice little challenging questions, but they're just working around arithmetic, and you're looking at Ratios, you're dividing by the amount of parts to find out who gets what share. If you're dealing with price comparisons, you're just looking to take each situation separately to find out and get them both to the same weight or both to the same value and say, well, which is more. So I either bring them both to 10 grams or 1 gram or 100 grams, and you'll be able to find out which one is better value. Okay, so that's 21.5. And there's a couple of questions there for you to do. The last thing I want to do with you for today, and it's pretty much the last exercise really in this, except for one more thing, the hardest part, which we'll do on Wednesday. Currency exchange, not so big anymore, because unless you're going somewhere like America or Japan or something, you don't really have to change your currency anymore because it's mostly euro. If we take one example of a currency exchange, and people make awful mistakes this in the junior cert, so we'll do a couple of these now nice and slowly the next day. So if we have an Ethiopian currency, so €1 is 22 birr. Alicia was returning home to Ireland and converted her money in the airport. How much did you receive for 1,000 birr? So she went to the airport and wanted to turn 1,000 birr back into euros, and you know well that €1 is equal to 22 birr. So best way to do it, same as you did all above. If 22 birr is no good to you, you want to know what 1 birr is equal to. So we divide 1 by 22, and that will give you an answer for what 1 birr is equal to, and then you multiply your answer by 1,000, and that will give you €45 and 45.4545, rounded to the nearest cent. So it's going to be 45 euros and 45 cents. So bring it back to 1 and then bring it to whatever the question's asking you. Okay. And I have a couple of questions there for you to do. There's only 3 of them. Question 2, 4 and 7. So you have a couple of questions to do. I think there's 10 questions in total, and they're due on Wednesday. So a few on working out ratios, a few working out best value for money, A versus B, and then a couple on currency exchanges, and we correct those on Wednesday, and then we'll move on to our last thing, which is this here, your compound interest, and this brings in a formula, the only formula in interest in arithmetic. So I will circle this because this is what is for homework for Wednesday, and it's also obviously available in the OneNote. If you have any questions, queries, you can wait till Wednesday, or of course just email me, and I can send you a voice note or another video just to explain any bit where you might be struggling. All right, have a good day, folks, and I'll talk to you later in the week.